Joe Steele's here with tonight's final thoughts. Turns out that regaining my mobility, especially increasing my walking and exercising, means that I have to get back to a number of things that I wasn't really very good about doing before. Things like stretching before and after a workout, getting enough water during the day, and God forbid getting enough sleep every night. Damn. And this is much more than just a minor annoyance. Let's just say that I'm getting really tired of waking up with horrendous leg cramps. It certainly doesn't help my need for sleep to have this concern about waking up sometime around 6 a.m. when my right leg decides that it's going to fire with all of its increasing strength. No thanks. So being the plugged-in tech guy that I am, I decided that I would go ahead and check out some apps to see what's out there that would probably help me be a bit more consistent, especially with this whole stretching thing. So turning to iTunes, you can see that there are dozens and dozens and dozens of all sorts of different stretching apps. I wouldn't even know exactly where to begin, but I did find, I don't even know where this came up, but I did find one app by junior Olympic hurdler Michelle Janicki. Unless you don't know who Michelle Janicki is, her claim to fame is her high-spirited warm-up routine that for some strange reason has been quite a YouTube video sensation. And I don't understand why this would motivate anybody or why this would be popular. Here's a clip from the actual app itself. So, in the words of one reviewer, I downloaded this for science. Sure, I guess really what it comes down to, all joking aside, is whatever motivates you to actually get up and do the thing is, certainly whatever works. So I actually did download the app to my iPhone. It is an iPhone app, and it's a series of short, 16 videos where she demonstrates or does, okay, so we're going to do a very short jogging, and then she tells you what to do. Now, it doesn't actually, it's like we're going to do 5 sets of whatever the activity is, and then you can do it. Now, obviously, you don't have to literally do it, but that kind of defeats the purpose to not actually do it. Now, as an iPhone app, you might think, well, that's kind of inconvenient to have that. Well, in iPhone world, what you can basically do is you can use, if you happen to have an Apple TV like I do, then I can actually take this video and put it onto my big screen TV, or and so I'm not really having to try to do the exercise carrying the damn phone around. Now, is this really going to work? I don't know. Really the whole point of it is whatever motivates you, and if having a very attractive young lady guide you in exercises is motivating, gee, I wonder, then sure, I'm sure it would work. The point is using the technology to motivate you to be, in my case, consistent. And so, like when I first started some of this stuff, actually several years ago, I used a website called Habit Forge, built on the premise that if you set a goal, one particular goal, and you do it for 21 days straight, then it goes from being an activity to a habit, and then this thing that you're trying to do, your lifestyle, will move forward. And it was it pretty much worked. This particular website doesn't seem to. It's not, they talk about an app, but there's no app on the App Store that I can tell. So as far as I know, it's kind of defunct. And so what I've actually done since then for the exercise part of my routine, the consistent tracking thing, I use an app that's available on iOS and as on the web, and then I believe also on Android, is Runtastic. And for me, the convenience is that if I actually go outside and do in my case, walking, then I just hit the start button, and then it tracks my activity based on the GPS. And to me, to a certain extent, it tends to be a little bit more consistent than if you are going and doing that sort of thing. It's more consistent in terms of tracking the actual distance versus, because in the old days I had a little clip-on pedometers, and depending on whether you properly calibrated it or whether it was in the right location, et cetera, was whether those things work. Now, obviously, we're in a whole new world with all this tracking stuff. But for me, with the technology I have with my iPhone, this works. Now, if I'm on my treadmill, the Runtastic GPS is not going to work at all. But in that case, what I basically do is I've got the treadmill is measuring my distances and my time. And so after I'm done with the workout, I can use Runtastic in the history function and go ahead and input the data manually, and so it keeps track of my workout. And if I choose to share it, I can go ahead and post the information, and I usually do post the information. And again, that has to do with a certain level of accountability. Most of this stuff works if it works. Number one, it works because it does some of the work for you in terms of the reminder and in terms of being kind of a virtual coach, right? And so that's the tool I use here. So so the next step for me was the next app that I actually ended up using or have begun using is MyNet Diary. And there's a ton of tracking apps out there, and obviously the stretching apps and all these fitness apps. There's just tons and tons of these. These are the ones that I use that have worked for me. MyNet Diary, what I like about it is it does the food thing, which is the other half of the whole fitness thing. Especially in my case, what I joked with somebody recently, and I said, a year ago, or actually about a year and a half ago, it was important that I eat because there was, I was on pain medication, so my digestion was all messed up, and I was losing weight, et cetera, and so the concern was, maintaining my weight or gaining weight in my case at that point. Well, it turns out I don't have a problem gaining weight now. Now I need to find a way to balance it, and that's really what this is about in a lot of ways. Is I've gone through something. It's kind of given me a second chance, or in my case, I can't even tell you how many chances, but it's given me another chance. And so I want to use the technology to help me in this process. And so, the Michelle Janicki application, if that works, then why not? I mean, really, I am finding that I do get, really serious leg cramps, and that's not any fun. And all I need to do is be more consistent with the stretching before and after, and I'm sure, it's going to help out with my body. Trying to find a balance, and really the apps end of this whole thing, the technology end of this, is helping with consistency, because it's got a clock. It basically tells me when. It helps me track what I'm doing. It helps me record what I'm doing. And then as I share this stuff, because of course all this stuff is on the internet, all this stuff, you can basically share on Facebook, gives me a kind of a sense of community and accountability. And that always helps a little bit. I see what my coworkers and friends are doing. And so that kind of keeps me in that mindset. And then obviously, especially, with the little, the cute female on the app, you want to have fun. You've got to have some sense of fun. If it's the same thing, you're always doing the same thing, and you're not having fun, you're not going. It will never get to the point of you doing it consistently enough for it to be a habit. You'll, and I've done this a ton of times, where I kind of ease up into it, and then I'm just like doing it every day. And then, something happens, I get sick, or I run out of, it's a busy day. And then before you know it, I've now developed the habit of not doing it. And so without, these things, consistency, accountability, community, and fun, it's just not going to, be the habit that I need, because I don't want to have to go through what I've gone through over the past 2 years to remind myself that if I'm going to have the quality of life that I want for myself, I have to do what I need to do to live that life. I can't, I am middle-aged, but that's no excuse for me to just retire onto the couch and wait for death. I need to do something. I need to do what I can do, and I obviously can do that. And having, again, over the past 2 years, having had my mobility taken from me, it's very precious. And so I need to do these sorts of things, and the technology is there to help out. And if, a cute girl doing her exercises is motivation for me to do the goddamn stretching that I don't want to do, then, whatever it takes. So that's my rambling thoughts of the night, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye. Let's just play that video some more.